Did any council member in Plano apologize to you for transphobia?
No, but they should have. But and then when I see this, so it makes you bring up such a good point. It makes you think of Bill Maher, and obviously his political leanings are terrible. But he said such a good point in his his monologue the other day that he said, if you look at the amount of kids that have been transitioned or on hormone blockers in Los Angeles compared to Ohio, it's like 10,000% more. Because when you have a trans kid, it's a lot like having a vegan cat. It's the owner making that decision. It's not a natural thing. I mean, and so that's that's the problem, though, Tucker, is we have this unnatural society where when I was a kid, it was called being a tomboy. And I think that's the same when you were a kid. But now if a kid is even masculine or feminine a little bit, these people want to put them on hormone blockers that are irreversible. So for me, it's like, the mockery, like once again, this is a perfect example. They're mocking us, and our poor children are the ones that are going to be the victim of it the most. So,
and put them on drugs. I mean, there is a huge emphasis on utilizing pharma. And if pharma is like the one thing that connects a lot of these stories, why is that?
Well, I mean, Tucker, it's obvious. I mean, you see any doctor can prescribe you an antidepressant. And this is the thing. For a person that is suicidal or depressed, to give them a drug that makes them more suicidal and arguably more depressed seems very counterintuitive, yet they give it to them like crazy. Oh,
well, so if those drugs worked, wouldn't the suicide rate be plummeting?
Yeah, well, it's skyrocketing.
So what is that? So... No, I mean, this is a serious question. Yeah. I know you're not a physician. I'm certainly not. Yeah. But like when Prozac came out, all the SSRIs, they were telling us, well, this is the end of mental illness and neuroses and anxiety. And yet all of those things have become far more prevalent than they were 30 years ago, but they're continuing to double down on this let's drug America strategy. Like, well, I'm becoming a Scientologist watching.
I know. Tom Cruise, L. Ron Hubbard, all that stuff. Yeah, Tom, you were right. Well, this is what they say. They actually say this. They say correlation does not mean causation. That is their terminology.
Okay, so what's the explanation?
It's just because people aren't, in their biological sex. So they're, because they were actually born a man, but they were a woman the whole time. So that's why they're depressed. But and you look at the trans community, and you look at the amount of depression and suicide that comes along with it. It's not an easy lifestyle, and I'm not even. I don't want to come across. Recently, I don't know. I keep on talking about the clips before you have them, but I know the other weekend I went viral going to a drag queen story time for children at a bar. I don't know if you saw.
Yes,
this.
You did. Yes. And boy, you are everywhere, Alex Stein. All of a sudden, and we actually have that tape because this is a TV show, and that's what we do. Our producers,
they did a great job.
Alex McCaskill in the control room has that tape. We're going to play it right now. I'm not letting you
Y'all better watch out.
Hey, calm down. Get away. Get away. Chill out.
Bunch of trans little girls.
Get out of here. You're trespassing. Move on.
Trespassing what? It's a public street.
Who are the creepy fascists in the black masks?
Well, you're familiar with them. They've come to your house and they've attacked you. And these are the people that they call themselves anti-fascists. And basically, they're the counter-protesters that want to, I guess, capitulate to the social justice warriors that want to indoctrinate our kids with more sexuality.
And hurt anyone who asks questions, I noticed?
Oh,
they went after you physically, immediately.
Yes, for sure. And they knew exactly who I was, not like trying to, say that I'm some big deal, even though I am on the Tucker Carlson Today show. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is they knew exactly who I was. And so immediately they were going to excommunicate me, try to get me out of there. But there's people that went inside Tucker, and this is what's so gross. Listen, you want to have all your drag brunches, go ahead and do that. But this one was targeted towards children, where they are inside simulating the strip club, having the drag queens tipped by the children with money, and there's kids in there with their handheld video games. The moms are grabbing the video games saying, look at the drag queen. And so it's just this weird sexualization of children that's not okay, because when I was a kid, full stop, we had a Playboy magazine that we would borrow from each other. Now with the internet, you can just type in sex, right? And so these kids are overly sexualized, and that's what's happening. Like we talk about the target of the the competitive, their athletics are getting beaten by biological boys, and now these people are over sexualized by parents that don't care about them, that are actually using their kids for like TikTok likes or social media clout to show that their kid's transitioning. So that event in Dallas, and we say in the conservative world everything's Satan and satanic and demonic, that actually was, Tucker, satanic and demonic. Just the parents letting their kids be in a bar with a huge sign that says it's not going to lick itself. There was nothing okay about that. If it was the other way around and these were at a heterosexual strip club and people were doing it, the left would go crazy. So it's just absolutely...
Well, you would go crazy too, because it's wrong.
I mean, it's just not okay for kids to be sexualized like this. And it's a sexual imprintation, or it leaves a implant on their brain, because let's say they have a natural sexual reaction to a drag queen because they think it is a woman, because they don't know the difference. Then later on in life, they find out, oh, well, that was a drag queen. They might have sexual confusion. So it's just very weird, and it's not okay.
How about we just keep sex and kids separate?
100%. But then you listen, we talk about that all the time. But look at guys like Jeffrey Epstein. Look at Bill Clinton, who's on the Lolita Express 26 times without Secret Service. You look at Huma Abedin's husband, Anthony Weiner, sending sex pics to kids, getting arrested for it. This is connected to Hillary Clinton. You know, the media is silent. Dennis Hastert, Speaker of the House, a convicted pedophile. So there are people in high, powerful positions that have taken, you know, advantage of children. And then you look at Ketanji Brown Jackson. Her whole resume has been soft on people that looking at child pornography and...
This sounds like a QAnon theory.
This is... No, and you know what? And that's another thing I do want to talk about.
Let me just interject and say, I have no freaking idea what QAnon is. Yeah. I've never known. I'm just joking.
No, of course.
But you're telling that... I mean, you're reciting a factual litany, as far as I can tell.
Of course, and QAnon's stupid. That's another thing to make people that are looking into the official story. See, I consider myself, I have a show called The Conspiracy Castle, and the term conspiracy theorist was created after the JFK assassination to demonize people looking into the official story. That's a fact. That's where it came out of.
Really?
For the CIA. They created that term.
Oh, the story that's still classified.
The idea.
These documents we can't see from the Warren Commission almost 60 years later? Okay.
We're never going to see. So that term has been demonized, and the people on the left, they call, oh, it's a conspiracy, and they say QAnon. No, QAnon's stupid. JFK Jr. is not coming back. But some parts of it, the fact that there are children that have been sex trafficked by the border, by people that are in high, powerful positions, that is true. I mean, Prince Andrew, this is the Queen's son, has paid out settlements for abusing children. And they're silent. So listen, this isn't a QAnon rally. This isn't, the whole world isn't all one big conspiracies, but there's things right in front of our face. And that's what I try to do with my content. I just want to make people ask the question. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe everything I say, but I want you to actually look into it for yourself, because this is what they said with the vaccine. They said, Brian Seltzer, they said, looking into it yourself is bad. I think it's the opposite. We all need to look into stuff.
So you're actually from the city where JFK was murdered.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, the Dealey Plaza right there. As a matter of fact, I'm suing our Dallas County judge, Judge Clay Jenkins. He's an idiot.
He's the worst.
He's the worst, yes. But you know where he does, the commissioner's court? In the book depository where JFK...
No way.
Yes, that's where the courthouse is, in the book depository, and you know, the bottom floor of it. So it's just crazy. There's a lot of Dallas history that goes into that. And listen, I don't know who killed...
But the origin of the term conspiracy theorist is the aftermath of that assassination.
100%. Yeah, that's a fact, Tucker. Yeah, the term conspiracy theorist is demonized.
Boy, it's awfully effective, isn't it?
It really is. And that's why I try to lean into it, because, listen, like you said, oh, QAnon is stupid. And so that's how they demonize us. They create some other target to make us not see what's actually happening.
What are the chances QAnon was created by the feds?
Of course, 1,000%. Duh. I mean, it's obviously some sort of controlled opposition. And a lot of this stuff is, because these people are so powerful. That's the thing, is when we talk about conspiracies, we have a world of social engineers that can control the narrative. And that's why in the mainstream media, that's why you're so successful. That's why you're the #1 host, because you don't bow down to the people that are trying to control you, to the big pharma, to these multinational corporations. Like, you look at Apple, they're one of the biggest companies, but in their studios, and this is not a conspiracy, in China, the Foxconn studios, they have literal suicide nets because their employees are
jumping off the building.
So, I mean, this is if these corporations cared about their employees, why don't you pay them a few more bucks? I mean, you guys are the biggest company in the world, so they're not killing themselves at work.
That would seem like a baseline.
But instead, they're going to say, oh, we'll put bigger nets so we can catch them. I mean, so this just shows you the kind of world we live in, where they'd rather put nets instead of making your life better so you don't commit suicide. We're just going to put bigger, tougher, stronger nets to catch you from killing yourself.
Maybe you just need some more Prozac or Xanax.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing is we talk about Xanax. It's like Xanax is an effective drug. Prozac, can make you whatever. It does. These drugs are effective, but they're not an effective way that they think, because there are side effects to this stuff.
So you're 35. Just a total tangent that I cannot resist, since you're younger than I am. Xanax is one of the most widely prescribed drugs. Mm-hmm. It's effectively the modern version of Valium.
Yes.
It's a tranquilizer, anti-anxiety drug, but it's also a party drug.
Oh, yeah.
How many people do you know personally in your rough age cohort who've had problems with Xanax?
Oh, Tucker, it is that is a disgusting number because listen, and I've taken Xanax. I mean, you know, they say, oh, you'll take it on a lot of people that are scared to fly, they'll prescribe to you because you can be scared to death to fly on an airplane, and they give you this pill, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't care if it crashes. So that shows you the effectiveness of this drug. So the college lifestyle, which I know you have children in that age range, you have to be very careful because now people use it as a date rape drug. People are depressed and they get on these drugs. They get on this because you have no memory. So Xanax, I think, is a poison. It's very similar to the opioid epidemic. Like, we are overprescribed, overmedicated, and they have such disastrous effects. Like, these kids I've seen, and I think it affects almost wealthier kids, you know, because these kids have access to money, and I've seen so many friends and family that I know have died of drug overdoses by mixing Xanax or mixing alcohol. So this is where we're at, though, Tucker, is that.
But I don't think I've ever read a news story about Xanax abuse. And every time I talk to someone who's 15, 20 years younger than I am, it's all about Xanax.
Oh,
why is that not covered?
It's Xanny bars. I don't know. I don't know why Xanax. I mean, I think I do know why, because you know every commercial is bought and sold by Pfizer. But neither here nor there. I'm just saying Xanax is a plague on our society. All the drugs that are currently happening, and then you know, we have to get conspiratorial, and we look at the Iran-Contra. The CIA was trading drugs with Nicaraguans for guns. We were giving them guns, and then they were taking that cocaine and they were flying it into Mena, Arkansas, which Bill Clinton happened to be the governor of that state. And they were taking those drugs and they were putting them in Florida. They were putting in California, Freeway Ricky Ross. So they created the crack epidemic. So the same people that did that, they're creating the problems that we have today. So it's just a new drug for a new era.
Amazing.
Not really.
So,
it's scary.
No.
I know what you mean. I know you mean that sarcastically.
Yeah, no, but what's just interesting because, I mean, I grew up in a world where, and speaking for myself, I actually believed that conspiracy theories were the way that dumb, uninformed people explained a complex world. Yeah. If you couldn't understand what was actually happening, you resorted to a conspiracy theory, and that was a mark of a low IQ.
Of course.
Now, I always think this, the more informed, the smarter the person, the more likely they are to be connecting the dots that you're connecting. So you grew up in a world where people just like assumed that the system was not on the level, I think.
Well, it's called cognitive dissonance. It's like, you know, the government is, you know, has done corrupt stuff. You know, there's classified levels of intelligence that you'll never be a part of. But you have cognitive dissonance thinking that the government has your back. They don't. It's a personal people control system. They want to control us. And that's one of the biggest parts of why they want to keep you depressed. Because, Tucker, when you're constantly depressed, you're in what is called fight or flight. So your hormone response is constant cortisol. And that's why Brian Stelter, those guys, they constantly have the ticker on CNN, how many people die, how many people die. Because people get addicted to that hormonal response. And once you're in that fear state of fight or flight, you can't see the forest for the tree right in front of your face. So then they can literally, like a dog with a treat, they can make you do whatever you want. And that treat is just more trauma, what I call trauma-based mind control, just more fear tactics in order to control you. So that's what's happening now is the mainstream media, not you, but most of the mainstream media uses fear to control us. And that's the same mechanism that the government uses.
I couldn't agree more. So so you're a writer in addition to everything else. You write your sketches, you write your pieces.
A lot of them improv, but yeah, I write them too. Yeah,
you think them through anyway,
yeah, of course.
Right?
Yes, sir.
In your head, you write them at very least.
Yeah.
So how do you get, this is a process question, but I'm interested, how do you get the headspace, how do you get far enough back from the fear machine to think clearly about what's happening?
Well, that's the easiest part, because all I have to do is just regurgitate what I see, hold up a mirror. Like I was saying, it's the culture jamming. I can just hold up the mirror to whatever Don Lemon's saying, whatever, you know, whatever those guys are saying, and I can just regurgitate it and take it to the left. It's like Babylon Bee. The reason why a lot of their articles come true, because, you know, they're just kind of saying, they're just talking about what direction we're going and saying what possibly could happen. A lot of that stuff does happen. I mean, you know, we live in a society where they're very predictable and everything. We're in the clown world. We're almost in the upside down world. So the more absurd thing you can think of, it's almost socially acceptable now, like Leah Thomas swimming on the men's team for 3 years and then competing against women. You would have never thought that was possible. But in this day and age, it's not only possible, you know, it's concrete. It happened right in front of our face.
What I found so striking about the video that you made and the videos that were shot of you at the drag show in Texas was how genuinely outraged you were. And it awakened me to watching it just on my phone, to the actual outrage of the moment. Like, we become a nerd to this stuff. There's like so much coming at us that's grotesque that you forget that like people were being hurt, but you didn't forget. Like you seemed genuinely mad.
No, it was disgusting, and I just keep on saying this. I don't do any of this to virtue signal. I'm not doing this to even necessarily say, because like I said, you know, politicians are so hypocritical. But for me, it's like when you see children being the victim of this, you can't not want to get involved. Like I literally wanted to shut it down, and this is what really made me so mad about this thing. They had a clear glass door at the event, and after we came in, they put paper over it, like the 2020 election, where they put paper over the windows there, because they didn't want us to see what was going on there. So if everything was kosher or everything was fine that's going on, why can't we see in?
Great question.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And like I keep, you know, talking about, we live in a nonsensical world in this day and age. And if we can get some common sense, everybody's worried about the food shortage, you know, energy shortage. I'm worried about the common sense shortage that we have in society, that we've lost all touch with it because of social justice. Because you look at the best movies from the 90s, Tucker, they were like, you know, Pulp Fiction, American Pie, I mean, Shawshank Redemption, just classic movies. You look at the best movies of 2022, it's like Boss Baby 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Well, our art is devolving because of social justice. So we're becoming dumber as a society because we can't create, because we're too afraid of hurting people's feelings.
That's right.
We need to hurt people's feelings and get tough. That's what we need to do, instead of, you know, coddling everybody like a baby.
Well, when you start destroying creators in their capacity to be creative, that's kind of the end of your civilization. You have to keep creating things and innovating, and I just don't see room for it. So you have, I mean, one thing I like about you, admire about you, is that you've gone and confronted people who can fight back, who are smart. As a perfect example, you took the Ukraine question to Ted Cruz, who is nothing if not smart, and certainly eloquent. He's a lot more articulate than I am, that's for sure.
False, but go ahead.
No, he is. He's very.
He's
talk
a
about silver tongue. He's a good speaker. And here was the exchange. It's interesting.
Because you're a globalist, you do more for Ukraine than you do for America. You know that. Remember how Trump made fun of your wife, and then you go become best friends with Trump? I know, but why do you do that? You go become best friends with Trump after he makes fun of you and your wife. Why do you do that?
I understand you don't want to defend Texas, and you don't want to.
No, see, I do love America. See, you don't. You care more about the border between Ukraine and Russia than you care about the border between Texas and Mexico. Why is that? Why do you care about that?
We're done.
I know, but why are you a globalist? You're a globalist, bud. You know it, Teddy. Hey, Teddy, you're a globalist. You're a globalist, Ted. You know that, bud. And that's why you're a coward and a liar. And you know that, and I know that. And that's why you're afraid to stand up for it. When people were freezing and dying, you were in Cancun, Mexico. You remember that? You remember when you're at the all-inclusive buffet while people were freezing?
Damn. Boy, that went right to the bone. But I thought it was so interesting that you led with Trump humiliated your wife, but then you sucked up to him. Why did you start? Tell me about that.
Well, okay, so, you know, that whole interaction, the reason why I brought up that is because I just kind of want to show how big of a hypocrite he was. Because, you know, it's like, I don't think Trump went after anybody, you know, as hard as he went after Cruz. I mean, he went after a lot of people, and, you know, Trump doubles down. But just the fact that he carries the you know, water.
Trump called Ted Cruz's wife ugly.
Yes. And he said his dad murdered JFK.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty big. I mean, I'll defend Tucker, my dad, to the heart. You don't ever say that about my dad. That's a fact. But what I'm saying is, but the reason why I brought that up.
I totally forgot he said Rafael Cruz killed Kennedy.
Yeah, he said that as well.
Was that? So my view of Trump was always the more outlandish the claim, the more likely it was to be true. Do you think Ted Cruz's dad really killed Kennedy?
I don't know. I don't believe that. But, and this is the thing. Is Trump, you know, at the beginning, I'm sure everybody was skeptical of Trump because he had no career in politics. So, you know, so it's normal. And then, you know, I liked some of the stuff that Trump did. You know, but I look at, you know, Trump towards the end of his presidency, what he did to the people that went to January 6th, and we know Stephen Colbert just did an Insurrection 2.0. But I think Trump could have been a little better with, you know, those people that were. Listen, Joe Biden.
You think all of his supporters are in jail? They raised no money for him. Like what?
I know, and he had 11 days in office. And listen, I just, you know, you look at a lot of the stuff that Trump did to close his presidency. People are probably gonna get mad, but there's just, you know, Operation Warp Speed. Then he has the Johnson & Johnson family on stage. There's a lot of stuff that, like, I love Trump. I liked what he did, but he still doesn't have our back at the end of the day. You know, that's kind of where
that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. So Cruz. So I don't know if you're married or not, but
I'm single, ladies. Come on, call me. I'll put my phone number right here.
But if you're married, or any man, like someone calls your wife ugly, which, by the way, Heidi Cruz is not ugly. I like Heidi Cruz personally; she's really nice. But you could not be nice to the person who said that to you?
No, but you make a good point. You started off by saying, Alex, you go after people that could do stuff. Well, that's a little bit why I am fearless. I'm a guy that suffers from toxoplasmosis because I have so many cats. That's a parasite in the fecal matter from cleaning it, and it actually.
How many cats do you have?
I have 5. I have Dusty, Angus, Pumpkin, Kyle, and Skybear. But listen, this is why I have the cats.
You have 5 cats in the house?
Yes, because I got my mom's cats when she passed away, so that's why I have so many.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, but I'm a cat rescuer, and I have a dog, and I have a turtle. But what I'm trying to say is I'm a crazy cat lady. But
weird that you're single.
Yeah, I know. Shut up, Tucker. Do not troll me. Okay, I'm not going to be trolled by my own dad. This is my point being is I'm very close to my dad. My mom recently passed away. I'm saying I got nothing to lose, Tucker. You have a family. You have something to lose. I don't. So that's why I'm going to continue to go after the establishment. That's why I'm not afraid of Dan Crenshaw. That's why I'm not afraid of Ted Cruz. That's why I'm going to call them out, because even if they do, Crenshaw gave me false allegations, this and that. My dad's a bail bondsman, so they put me in jail. He's
Your dad's a bail bondsman?
Yes, he's one of the biggest. Not anymore, but at one point he was one of the biggest bail bondsmen in Texas. So what I'm saying is I'm going to get out of jail. I'm going to be okay. I'm not afraid. These guys want to, like I said earlier, they want to keep us in the state of constant fear. I'm going to live fearless. I know from seeing my mom go that I'm even more motivated to realize that we have a very finite time here on Earth. It's short. It's so short. It's incredibly short. You never know when you're going to go out. So I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to call out hypocrisy. And people say, oh, well, you do it for clout. You do it for this. Well, listen, I have a platform and I have a voice where I'm not afraid to do this. There's other people that have the ability to do it that don't. So I'm going to take advantage of what I have, because nobody can really get hurt except for me. So, this is why I can be, a troll, a goblin, whatever you want to call it, because nobody else can really get hurt by what I do.
Amazing. Back to what you said a second ago. Dan Crenshaw is making fake allegations, false allegations against you.
Oh, yeah, they said that they were assaulted and that all this stuff.
How can you assault a Navy SEAL war hero, the toughest man in the world? He shot his campaign commercial was him bailed out of an airplane to kill
well, that was all
fascists or something.
But Tucker, you say that, and then have you seen the left-wing media is coming into his support? I mean, I think Jake Tapper was on his side. I mean, obviously Adam Kinzinger's on his side. I mean, he's a Republican, whatever. But that should show you that if Dan Crenshaw is being protected by the left-wing media, it shows you whose side he's really on.
I say that's fair. I think that's an astute observation, Alex Stein. But what he's claiming that you assaulted him?
Yeah, he said that I assaulted him and he never got touched. And it's funny because when I posted the video, not 10 minutes after it, Mediaite, which is a left-wing, rag, whatever you want to call it, they had already written an article with all these false allegations. They even said people got arrested. None of that was true. I mean, all provably false. But
wait, Mediaite wrote something false?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody who reads Mediaite who's not a cable news producer.
No, and I don't think... and Tucker, Mediaite has no... I mean, you look at their Twitter, this story went viral, but if you go to their Twitter, I mean, they get 2 likes, 4 likes on their stuff.
It's ludicrous.
It's just saying, they have no engagement. They have no real audience. I guess just one, if they get 1 blue check mark on the left wing to share it, maybe the story will go viral. But this is that it's always lies, lies, lies. And it's spin, spin, spin. And that's just how, the mainstream media works.
Crenshaw's a sitting member of Congress. It's just funny that they're claiming something that's that the video proves is untrue.
Yeah, but they're desperate for clicks. They need clicks. You know this. These people are scum. I mean, I don't know any other way to really call them out. It's like these people will literally lie in order to spread their narrative. I mean, you know this. I know this. It's common sense to anybody that's looking. And that's why I think with the Crenshaw thing, I hope anybody that has, not soft brain, they're going to see, well, why is the left-wing media coming out in support of him? Maybe he's on the left. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping people will just look and see he's not on our side, and that's the problem. All these politicians, there's a couple good ones, probably Rand Paul. I like MTG. I mean, I like a couple politicians, but most of them at the end of the day, when we talk about, I said it earlier, when they're spending millions of dollars to campaign for a job where they only make $100,000, it's all the power that they control. And these political action committees that donate money to them are the ones that they're beholden to. And those are the ones making the decisions. So these people do not care about us. They're being controlled by organizations, the national corporations. And we are the brunt and bearers of it with, this is the thing. They gave $40 billion to Ukraine in 2 minutes. But to give the American citizens $600 stimulus, it took them 12 months to do that. So that just shows you who they care about, not us.
I do think, though, even though you said that you're fearless, you've got nothing to lose, you're going to tell the truth no matter what, I think we need to agree now that you're not going to criticize Pfizer in public again.
No, never. Pfizer's the greatest thing. The vaccine is the most safe and effective thing ever created. We don't need long-term testing. I hate long-term testing. I've never wanted it, so we love you, Pfizer. Short-term testing is all I need. The shorter the testing term, the better the drug, in my opinion.
Thank you for doing that. This program brought to you by Pfizer. The great Alex Stein, greater even than I realized.
No! It's over that quick, though, Tucker. I'm so sad. I'm moving in. Okay, and we're in an undisclosed location. I'll never give it. But now that I have the address, he needs to worry about me. I'm moving. I'm buying.
I'm merely a marionette controlled by the ventriloquist named, for the record, Alex McCaskill in the control room. Sorry, Alex, you had one more question you wanted me to ask? Oh, our producers have created a montage of what they believe are your best moments.
Okay,
so on the way out, we're going to do that. And let me just say on the way out, this is Alex Stein. He is on the internet. We think quite a bit of him. This show is called Tucker Carlson Today. We are normally on at 8 p.m. on the Fox News channel. We hope you will watch. And as we leave this segment, here are the best moments, according to our producers, of Mr. Alex Stein.
Prime time, 9 to 9, on the grind all the time. Go insane for Ukraine.
The most important border in the entire world is that between Russia and Ukraine. And you, that's right, you can make the difference. Do you want a nuclear missile coming in your backyard? We need just one councilwoman, one councilman to stand up, to not live in fear. You put a mask on every kid. Yes, that's what you really did.
Mayor Wheeler, you're the #1 chillest mayor ever, dude. So I just want to encourage everybody out there, if you got a family member that's like on Trump's crap or something like that, go to Portland.
I'll take that in the spirit in which it was offered, which is complete sarcasm.
And my daughter, Lily, identifies as a lizard. I can't compete in the Special Olympics, and I can't compete against women. What kind of bigotry is that? Listen, I should be able to go in there and change with the rest of the women. But you guys are saying, oh, no, you're not a biological female. Listen, do I not look like a biological female? They get to decide who's trans and who isn't. That's it, these people.
We know you, Alex.
What? And I'm also Alexandria. You were in Cancun, Mexico. You remember that? You remember when you were at the all-inclusive buffet while people were freezing? Pash McCain. Look at I Pash McCain right here. You're a rhino. You're a globalist.